Welcome to the Frog Pod, your weekly video podcast by Costa Rican Vacations. I'm your host, Adam Baker, and we discuss everything Costa Rica related, and I chat with expats, locals, and professionals. And today, I'm with Lisa Cederberg and Aidan Mullan. Guys, great to have you.
Thank you for having us.
Lisa, before we start, just introduce yourself a tiny bit.
My name is Lisa. I'm from Los Angeles, California originally. I've been here for over 11 years now. I came here, fell in love with the country, and I packed up everything I owned and moved here with my dogs. I've been a travel consultant here, a senior travel consultant, I should say, for over 8 years now, too. Nice. I love it here.
8 years, great. Aidan?
Yeah, I'm Aidan Mullan. I'm from Belfast, Ireland originally. I've been here for just over 8 years and started just right after Lisa. I do basically everything Lisa does, but with travel agency partners, mostly in the US, but throughout the world. I'm helping them bring their clients down to Costa Rica.
Fantastic. And how's that going?
Very well, thanks.
Yeah, excellent.
Really well.
No, that's great. Well, guys, this is a pretty awesome topic today. We're discussing the best of. And that basically means the best places to visit, the best spots to go to. Wildlife, we're going to discuss a little bit about different hotels, resorts, these kind of things. With the huge amount of knowledge between you guys, I think we can cut through a bunch of topics. It's going to be a quick fire one, so we've got a lot of questions to go through. And hopefully we'll get some client questions as well later. But let's start by one of the questions that comes up a lot that I remember even from back in the day. When is the best time of year to come to Costa Rica? What would you say? And how do you answer that question? Because I know it comes with a bit of...
For me personally, I always recommend months like May and June, which are the shoulder months. They're my favorite months here just because there's way less crowds. There's great deals at hotels. A lot of hotels have green season specials, so pricing is much better. Less people, the weather is still amazing. People seem to think that suddenly when rainy season hits, which is technically May 1st, it starts raining every day, but it's pretty much the same year round. It really depends on when where you're going. But yeah, I would say May and June are probably my favorite months, and then maybe November and early December.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I like the transitional periods.
I like the transitional periods as well. I think, especially since Costa Rica is known as such an adventure capital of Central America, it really, when it starts to rain a little bit more, the rivers get a little bit, have more rapids, the waterfalls are a little stronger for rappelling. Right. But also on the other side of it, if you're a beach goer, you want to sip cocktails at an all-inclusive resort, then definitely January, February, March, maybe into April are the best times for that.
Yeah, I remember one of the things I hated, I got to say, about traveling in May is the mosquitoes. The only thing about the dry season transitioning to the rain, and then the same in November, they come out briefly because the rest of the year it's not that bad.
It depends where you are too, though.
I find that I'm allergic to mosquitoes, so I get humongous bites for the
Okay,
first
so
hour or so.
I do too.
Yeah, you do as well. I mean, it's just one of those things that obviously I'm used to now. I get that people don't really want to travel when they're going to be bitten, but I think that when you're coming to a country most well known for its rainforests and everything, then it really comes with the territory.
Yeah, you can't really plan your trip around mosquitoes.
Bring some bug spray and you're going to be okay.
It's not that bad. I mean, I guess being allergic myself. But,
yeah, I mean, it's not great, but I mean, still, the positives here with the sunshine and warm weather year round, it definitely outweighs the negatives of mosquitoes.
It brings them off. It's not that bad.
Exactly.
Yeah, it brings them off, and not everybody likes to use off. There are a lot of natural options out there and stuff as well. So there's way to get around. People even are bringing their own diffusers and using those in their rooms and stuff as well to get away from that.
Yeah.
But there's options there, and being bitten by a mosquito doesn't have to ruin a whole trip.
That's true. And talking about the weather, because that's the kind of the idea that I'm going to base when the best time of year is to come with the weather. We're filming this series in the fall, the autumn here. Absolutely glorious sunshine outside. Yep. Explain a little bit about how it doesn't actually rain that much the green season.
Oh, yeah. I mean, typically it might rain in the afternoon for an hour or so, but the mornings are usually bright and sunny. I mean, typically over this side of the country, like the Pacific side or the Central Pacific or here, typically in the morning it's bright and sunny. If it's going to rain, it usually does so in the afternoon. Caribbean side around this time of year and next month is a great time to go there. It's one of the driest times to go on that side. Yeah. But it doesn't really, I mean, if it's going to rain in the afternoon, it's a great time to have a cup of coffee, sit in a hammock, but generally speaking, it doesn't stop anything from functioning or running.
Yeah, for sure. So would you say it's fair if you were going to sum it up January, February, March, April, the dry season, normal to high hotel rates, but really good weather if you want sun. Maybe slightly less wildlife in general and a lot of tourism. And then the transitional months, slightly lower rates. You may see a sporadic shower in the afternoon, that kind of thing. But everything starts to get a little more lush, a lot greener.
Exactly.
And then obviously the high season again, July, August. The European, the US traffic in North America.
Yeah, I think that I can see a massive difference between when I started here 8 years ago or so, where really the summer months, like the American and European summer months, were really not busy at all.
Right.
Right now, like those are some of our busiest months.
They really are.
People aren't afraid of a little bit of rain anymore.
Yeah.
And like Lisa said, it normally is in the afternoons and evenings. When you get into September, October time, there is definitely more rain, especially as you go further south in the country. But there's really no reason not to be coming. I mean, it stays in the 80s, 90s, touching even 100 in Guanacaste, even during the rainy season.
I was going to say, even when it's raining, it's tropical rain. I'm from LA. When it starts raining, people act like acid is falling from the sky and no one knows how to drive. But here, it's lovely. It's the weather's still beautiful. It's still warm. It's actually really, really nice.
And then as you get to the end, you get towards November, December, peak season at Christmas, but it gets a bit fresher. Rain disappears, a bit of a breeze.
A little bit more wind, and really, really helpful as well. Especially in the Guanacaste region where can touch over 100 degrees or over 40 in centigrade. I think that that little breeze is beautiful.
Yeah, no, that's true. But then, of course, if you're traveling at Christmas, it's going to be expensive.
Yes, it's definitely expensive at Christmas. And actually, where it's dry season on the Pacific, it's actually one of the wetter times of the year in Arenal volcano region, which is extremely popular. But again, that's where the adventures are. Have a little bit of rain there, and head over onto the Pacific side of the country where it's going to be pretty dry. But rains are a bit more, but that's the demand. There's a huge demand that time of year.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty awesome. That covers the year. It gives us a really good kind of idea about how you might break the 12 months. Now, when it comes to resorts and hotels, obviously there's a lot of choice in Costa Rica. Resorts, all-inclusive hotels, lodges, eco-lodges. Lisa, tell me about your favorite, off the top of your head, your favorite resort, all-inclusive resorts.
Resort or all-inclusive resort? They're two very different things. I'm not a typical all-inclusive kind of traveler. I don't like big resorts and everything, so they're not my favorite. If I had to choose one in Costa Rica, I think I would probably go with, for kind of nice, classic kind of all-inclusive, not big party kind of Cancun all-inclusive, the Westin Playa Conchal. Recently taken over by Marriott, but it's still the Westin. That's a really nice choice. Beach is beautiful. And then for kind of a fun vibe where they have shows and, like a Queen cover band or whatever, Planet Hollywood is pretty new, and that's actually a really fun resort. The views are beautiful. The rooms are lovely. They have these awesome little pods by the pool. Great. Probably the best kids club I've ever seen. So those are my two all-inclusive favorites. And then
whereabouts is Planet Hollywood located?
Planet Hollywood is up in all the all-inclusives are going to be up in Guanacaste, the North Pacific region of Costa Rica. So pretty much all of them are there. Planet Hollywood is in Papagayo, the Gulf of Papagayo, which is becoming a really popular destination these days. Lots of resorts are popping up around there. Papagayo. And then we have the Westin, which is in Conchal. So that's another beach in Guanacaste. And then the non-all-inclusives, I think probably one of my very favorite resorts is Tulamar in Manuel Antonio. Just the combination of the rainforest, the beach, the wildlife, the proximity to adventures and waterfalls and tours. And it's just I love it.
And that would be considered, I guess, a slightly smaller resort. Like you say, most of the larger resorts and all-inclusives are found in the northwest of the country, big open beaches.
Your typical style resort, kind of row hotel, not row hotels, but a lot more rooms, let's say. More boutique-style hotels would be Tulamar, but Tulamar is still a huge property. It's just different style. Villas, individual villas, family villas. So just set up differently, I would say. All kind of sprinkled in the rainforest. So
that's a great segue. And talking of the rainforest and smaller boutique hotels and lodges, Aidan, what's your kind of your go-to boutique hotel? Your personally favorite experience or natural lodge?
Well, for more of the natural lodges, I would say probably some of my top would be the Quarry Lodge, not far from here from San Jose, heading out towards the east of the country. An unbelievable rainforest lodge where you can actually raft from San Jose into the lodge itself as part of your transfer. It's a Nat Geo lodge of the world as well. So it's it brings with it that kind of higher end kind of barefoot luxury is what I would kind of call it. So it's not polished, but the service is amazing. The rooms are super different and breathtaking. Some of these rooms have their own spring-fed pools and bathtubs looking over the Macquarie River. Unbelievable lodge, and they actually just acquired another lodge, which was another one of my favorites, the Lapa Rios Lodge, which is another Nat Geo Lodge of the world. I don't work for Nat Geo, but Macquarie just acquired that lodge as well. So what they're going to do together over the next couple of years, I think is going to be really exciting.
Lapa Rios is one of my favorites.
Yeah, so
it is like National Geographic.
I've always said the same thing. Lapa Rios is right up there.
Yeah, so it's also in one of the most important parts of the country, in the Osa Peninsula, where it has like 5 or 6% of the world's biodiversity. Yeah. So it's like once you go there,
another Nat Geo stat.
That's a really, really special place, and it took me 4 years before I could visit, and when I did, I just thought it was the most amazing place.
So was the bar, I imagine, in your head set really
high?
It
really was. Like every client I sent there were giving me 5 out of 5 every single time. For everything, for the wildlife, for their food, even though it's more kind of simple, their food is really good, So because they are also a completely sustainable property, they source all their ingredients from right there on the Osa Peninsula. Their staff are from the Osa Peninsula. So for me, it's easy to be that good when you care so much, So it's obvious that they do.
Well, that makes sense. We'll definitely add links to all these properties.
Definitely.
Box below because they're fantastic to check out. When it comes to wellness, obviously the experience in the rainforest. What about yoga, wellness resorts? I know that's an up-and-coming thing. You mentioned Barefoot Luxury. But Lisa, what are your kind of favourite go-to spots when people are looking to get off the beaten?
It's interesting because now there's a lot of hotels that are offering yoga and building specific yoga decks and meditation decks because it is something that people do look to Costa Rica for. But I would say the Nicoya Peninsula, Nosara, and the Caribbean coast are probably two of the best places for yoga. Harmony Hotel down in Nosara is awesome for that, all organic food. But again, like Cala Luna, even in Tamarindo, is easier to get to restaurants and stuff, but they have an amazing yoga deck. Even Manuel Antonio, there's pretty much yoga. You can find yoga even by the volcano. You can do yoga in the morning facing the volcano, so I would say I think people think there's only wellness retreats, but I think a lot of hotels, just generally speaking, incorporate a lot of wellness into their general stays for anyone, not just yoga retreats.
I think you're right. That Nicoya area, the Santa Teresa vibe, has that
for sure.
Feel. And talking of wellness, I know sometimes it comes hand in hand. People ask us, Aidan, what are the best spots for honeymoon? You're coming down, you want something super romantic. With so much choice, where do you go?
Yeah, I mean, in the same vein as the yoga wellness thing, the whole country is kind of opened up into that. But there are a couple of properties and a couple of areas that stand out to me. I think that the Nayara Springs Resort near the Arenal volcano is probably still the top honeymoon spot in the country. Nice. This is adult-only, beautiful one-bedroom villas with their own spring-fed plunge pools. It's an unbelievable honeymoon destination, and actually a wedding destination as well, if you can spring for it. It's a beautiful property, and obviously with that comes a little bit of a higher price tag. I love to couple that up with something near the coast. I would say like the Cura Design Villas in Uvita, which is a little less traveled. Unbelievable property, super kind of contemporary, but while still kind of staying warm as well. Doesn't look like an airport, it keeps warm. The most amazing views of the Baidena National Park as well. So you're not on the ocean, but you're not far from the ocean, but the views in the rainforest are spectacular. So those are probably my two top honeymoon destinations in Costa Rica this time.
They are excellent shouts, and it's funny. Even I know you don't work for Nat Geo, you actually work with us, but it sounds like I want to go there.
Yeah,
it's funny that we're actually experts in.
Oh yeah, for sure.
No, and said it so well.
Some of these properties pop up and I haven't been to them in a few years, and I get the chance to go and I can't wait to get there. Like sometimes when I build these packages, and Lisa probably gets it too.
I want to go on vacation with you.
Yeah,
I do. I'm like, oh man, this is the best vacation ever.
But you build so many that sometimes, you forget how beautiful it is here, and then you build that one itinerary where all of a sudden you're getting vacation envy again.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, I want to do this itinerary right now.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Hey, it's not a bad gig, right?
It's not.
No, not at all. Super rewarding.
Talking about some of these wonderful places, a lot of people ask, obviously we're in the tropics, there's a lot of wildlife. So if you're a wildlife enthusiast, you're looking for the best national park, where do you go, Lisa?
Well, if you're like if you're an adventurer, the best national park would be Corcovado, I would say. That does hold 5% of the world's biodiversity. Not everyone can get to Corcovado, whether it's, it's not super cheap to get down there, domestic flights, none. So I would say Manuel Antonio is my next pick for wildlife. 3 different species of monkeys, 2 different types of sloths, birds, iguanas, the national animal. People always think will be a sloth or a monkey, but it's actually a white-tailed deer, and you can see those in the national park. But yeah, the national parks there. It's one of our smaller national parks, but the wildlife's incredible. I mean, in a dense little spot, you can see so much wildlife. And at your hotels, a lot of times you see monkeys in the trees. They'll steal food.
Yeah.
So
I believe isn't Mullan National Park one of the most populated, like the traffic, the foot traffic.
Yeah,
it's the busiest in the country. It's the
Yeah.
smallest and the busiest. Probably one of the more important. Obviously,
for sure.
I think 25% of this country is national park.
Yeah.
So that in comparison to the others is really small, but it's super important. I'd probably throw in another couple in there as well. I never forget my first visit to the Tortuguero National Park.
Yes,
Lisa was there as well, actually.
Yes.
And
I know there are so many.
I love that place. It's like a little mini Amazon. So you're going through the rainforest in canals. It's amazing. Plus, you got the turtle nesting and hatching season, and probably a little less travel than some of the other national parks as well, just because it's a little further out of the way. A longer transfer or a quick flight. And then the most underrated national park for me is the Carrara National Park near Jaco in the Central Pacific. Unbelievable birding there. A lot less traveled. It tends to be more serious birders.
I was gonna say it's more of a birding, like naturalist.
But I mean, you'll still see those things you want to see in Costa Rica: the sloths, the toucans, the monkeys, and it's also great for seeing scarlet macaws as well. So
trails
it's
are also like
flatter. Yeah, so it's super accessible as well, Pablo. So I think that that's for me one of the most underrated.
Yeah, I was there a couple of years ago for the first time, and like Pablo says,
after how many years here?
Right.
Yeah, it's like, you don't even think about it.
And you drive past it.
You drive past it all the time.
All the time. I saw 2 species of monkey before, a bunch of poison dart frogs, scarlet macaws, like you say. And I agree, Lisa, the Mount Antonio National Park is beautiful. Plus, you have the beaches. The beaches are gorgeous.
Yeah, the beaches inside the park.
Yeah, but if you're really an enthusiast looking for that true rainforest experience, Corcovado is the place to go.
For sure.
For me, every time I go there, it's like Costa Rica in one place.
Yes.
You will see just about everything.
It's probably what most people have in their head growing up, what it's like, whether it's you're from the US like Lisa and kind of know geographically where it is. I don't know about you, but being from over in Europe, for me it was like wildlife shows, David Attenborough or whatever. I didn't know where it was, but I knew what it had, and I knew what it looked like. And that's what Corcovado National Park is.
Yeah.
And when you're actually inside the canopy and you're walking,
that's incredible.
It's all above you.
It never gets old. After 11 years, I'm still, every single time I go places or see views, like this weekend I was in Arnall. That volcano still just takes your breath away.
It's so true. You always find something new, especially when it comes to wildlife. People do ask, best place to see monkeys. I think you said Mount Antonio National Park.
Well, you say that, but one of our colleagues, Mark, was just in Papagayo. Staying at the Andaz Resort, the Hyatt Resort, and he said that he saw more monkeys there than he's ever seen in Manuel Antonio.
Huh.
He was taking videos of them playing by the pool and the white-faced monkeys, and so I mean, of course they're more concentrated in some areas, but you're going to see them everywhere. So that's super important to know is that.
But don't feed them.
Don't feed them.
Feed them.
Don't feed them. And plus,
safety.
They steal enough food anyway. You don't even need to feed them.
And what about sloths? People will love to know where's the best place to go and see sloths.
I would say where I've seen the biggest concentration of sloths is on the Caribbean side. Like Cahuita National Park is amazing. Puerto Viejo, Cahuita. I've seen them on the sides of the roads. Here, I would say Manuel Antonio National Park is another good place. Now in Arenal, actually, they offer a tour, a sloth specifically just for sloths. So you're almost guaranteed to see sloths on that tour. They have trees now planted, so the sloths stay in the area.
Yeah.
So kind of, there's a lot of places you can see sloths.
Again, they spread around the country.
Yeah, I would say less in Guanacaste, like the North Pacific. Would probably say if you're looking specifically to see a sloth, probably that wouldn't be your best option. But I don't know where they travel up there.
Again, they're quite expansive all over the country.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to see them everywhere,
Yeah.
but they're more concentrated areas.
And I think, Aidan, you've already answered this. Best place to see turtles, Tortuguero.
Yeah, I mean, there are a few different places, again, around the country, even on the Pacific side of the country, certain times of year, but Tortuguero National Park during turtle season is unbelievable. You're guaranteed to see them, basically. So I've been fortunate enough with you, Adam, actually, on both occasions, to both see them nest and to see them hatch. So
I was going back a few years.
Yeah, it's one of my first ever trips that I did.
Yeah.
And I think before you even started filming anything,
That's right.
it was an amazing experience, and one that actually really changed my attitude in life and life towards animals. I became a vegetarian after that trip. Not that I was eating turtles before that,
Very specific.
but like
you start respecting.
But then I started thinking, if one matters,
Yeah.
maybe they all matter. But to see that, and also when I moved to Costa Rica, I didn't really think of wildlife was my thing. I love the beaches, but that one trip really changed everything. And actually, I saw all those things: turtles, sloths, the amazing birds in Tortuguero are amazing as well. But yeah, definitely the best place to see turtles in Costa Rica.
Fantastic. And talking of the best, and you mentioned beaches there. A lot of people want to know about the beaches.
Mm-hmm.
Best beaches for swimming, surfing, snorkeling. Lisa, where do you go if somebody asks you best beach for swimming in the country?
Best beach for swimming. I don't know.
I'd say Papagayo.
Yeah,
I really
it is
like
calm.
Papagayo.
It is really calm, and it's a calm bay.
Calm bay.
Yeah,
White
that's
sand,
true.
Different options.
Different
Different
options.
Yeah. Sand does change a lot.
But the Four Seasons has great white sand beaches.
Yeah.
And has a little darker, more natural looking. El Mangrove.
And then Mangrove has even darker. So Mangrove is good for swimming.
Really
the
Papagayo, that bay is nice up there because it's not.
At the same time, are these swimming beaches good for snorkeling?
Not always.
Yeah, no, not always.
I say Conchal, where the Westin is a very, very good swimming beach and also very
and
good
you can
snorkeling
snorkel
beach.
also. Flamingo's not so great for swimming, but great snorkeling.
That's true.
Great for
I was there filming not too long ago, Flamingo Beach for Margaritaville. And right at both ends where the rocks are, you can put your snorkeling equipment.
Yeah, Manuel Antonio is a good swimming beach too. I mean, it's also a surfing beach. Not super big waves for surfing, but
in the national
nice
park's a little better for
yeah,
swimming,
for
isn't
sure.
it? And,
yeah.
Playa Esmerilla, the big beach,
Yeah.
The big public beach is a bit more.
And Tamarindo's a great swimming beach.
That's true.
Big,
that's
open.
True. And I personally love that. That number 2 beach inside National Park is beautiful. You mentioned it for surfing there. Tamarindo, great spot to learn to surf.
For sure.
Playa Grande, the beach at the end of Tamarindo.
Yeah, because there's so many different breaks, you can be a beginner or probably approaching more intermediate and still have a break that you want at Tamarindo.
And if you're looking for intermediate to advanced beaches for surfing, what do you recommend?
No, Sara, probably.
Santa Teresa.
Santa Teresa, yeah.
Like Santa Teresa, like Tom Brady goes surfing there as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's there are surfing beaches again all over the country, but these famous ones are famous for a reason. There's Playa Hermosa in the Central Pacific.
Yeah, exactly.
That have a lot of the competitions, don't they?
Yeah, for sure.
Next to Jaco.
Next to Jaco. Jaco has
Jaco has some great surfing too.
Costa Rica is like becoming that Hermosa is not for
No, Hermosa is for competitive surfers.
Pablo's talking. Pablo's an advanced surfer.
Oh, you are?
Yeah. He's hit the waves. Yeah, that's a good point. If you're in Hermosa,
I'm pretty good at falling off. I do pretty well.
I can't even get beyond the break.
For beginners, I would say Manuel Antonio is a great beginning beach, and then like you said, Tamarindo has some great beaches. I mean, great breaks for beginners.
And to wrap up the beaches, what about the best sunset that each of you have seen on the beach? Aidan?
After 3, I bet we'll say the same one.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Flamingo.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say that, and then I was like Flamingo, Tamarindo. Like I've had a couple. Yeah, Flamingo's true. That's
incredible.
true.
Like Flamingo's my favorite beach to watch the sunset from. But the best sunset I've ever seen was from the hotel at Villa Caletas near Jaco Beach.
Oh,
like that's from the hotel, but from the beach, Flamingo. The beach.
That is an amazing sunset. One of my favorite sunsets ever was before I ever moved here. It was in Tamarindo. The sky, I couldn't believe how many. I'd never seen a sky like that in my entire life. I didn't know you could have all those colors.
That's a really important thing about going back to green season. For me, when there's a little more cloud in the sky, it creates better sunsets.
Oh yeah, every one is different too.
Start to become incredible. Whereas if there's no clouds. It's still beautiful to watch the set.
Yeah.
But you don't get
all those
that
pinks and oranges and purples
It's so
and
true.
yellows.
From a photographic perspective as well, as you wait 5 to 10 minutes after the sun's gone down, those clouds.
What about
in the sky.
Beautiful. I saw in Arnall the other day. We were there, and it was a pink, just fuchsia
gorgeous.
pink. It was so beautiful.
That's a good time.
What about Playa Langosta near Tamarindo?
Oh yeah.
Like those rock formations that make the sunsets really amazing.
From the Hotel Calaluna.
Yeah, that's why they get so many weddings at that hotel.
Yeah.
The sunset's
Beautifully.
and cocktails every day at sunset over there as well.
It is really beautiful.
Well, guys, we've got some client questions. Knowing this was going to come up here, let's have a look. I've got one here. It comes from Jonathan. He asks, "What are the best tours in Costa Rica?" Obviously, there's a ton of tours. We mentioned Arenal being the capital, but what are some of your favorites?
My personal favorite, one of them is the Lost Canyon waterfall rappelling. The guides make it so much fun. That canyon is, again, about beauty. I mean, you take a look while you're walking, tracing the river. You kind of get to hike through the river, and then you get to rappel the waterfalls. There's only 4 waterfalls, but nonetheless, it's just the scenery. The guides make it so much fun. It's one of my favorites. One of the most popular tours is the Hanging Bridge. That's a great one. So that's a nice one to do. But
adrenaline. You get
exactly. You get the canopy. If you don't want to be suspended through the air, then you can walk on the hanging bridges.
As you say, right in the rainforest, jumping down waterfalls.
Yeah,
pretty awesome.
But I would say probably Arenal has the best tours, regardless.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's the adventure capital, isn't it? So I mean, if you want adrenaline, there's no better place than Arenal. For me, I'm not an adrenaline junkie. I love getting out in the water. My favorite tour is one of our signature tours. It's the Hidden Beaches tour in Papagayo Bay. I think it's known now as the Fun in the Sun tour, where they'll take you by boat to these beautiful hidden beaches around the Papagayo Bay. You can go snorkeling, stand-up paddleboarding, which is something I really like to do. And actually, stand-up paddleboarding, one of my other favorite tours, is out of the El Mangrove, where you go out before sunset. And on the way back, you'll flick on your lights and your paddleboard under the water.
It's so neat.
Really
cool.
Yeah,
it is really cool.
Yeah, it's really amazing. Super fun. I think you might have been there when I did that.
And even seeing the fish.
Yeah, you see the fish on the dark
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, because you got the lights from the board and then the dark sand of Playa Panama where Mangrove is. Yeah, it's really, really cool. I really like that. And, of course, any sort of hiking tour in any of the national parks are something that you should have at least once a night.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's a really good point because obviously there's a standard canopy tour, super popular. What rafting, ATVs?
Rafting and the rafting tours and the one Lisa mentioned, the Lost Canyoneering, are probably the most highly rated tours that I ever sent people on. People love them. My family were just here from Ireland in August. They all went rafting. My dad, who's early 70s, went rafting in Rio Balsa. But it's green season, so the river, even though it's only class 3, it's more like 3-4. They all fell out of the raft. the guys are amazing. They got some amazing photos, lifelong memories for my nieces and nephews and stuff as well. So, I mean, rafting is hugely popular and it's amazing.
Fantastic. Mariela asks, what is the best Costa Rican food? So obviously, we're all from different places, but what's your favorite Costa Rican dish?
My favorite is patacones. So like flattened, unripened plantain, fried, usually like with mashed beans or pico de gallo or guacamole. But I really like having what they call chaleta here, which is like cut up onions and chilies on top of it. That's probably my favorite. Yeah, spicy. Yeah, I love spicy.
Aidan and I are a little tricky because neither of us eat meat, so we have a different palate than a lot of people. So, for me personally, I guess if I go to a restaurant and I'm looking for a Costa Rican meal, I'll get a casado. And a casado is a typical plate. Casado means married, so it's basically a plate of married things. Whether it's a little bit of rice, a little bit of beans, a little bit of salad, a little bit of sometimes cheese if you eat cheese, or maybe egg or whatever, but sometimes I just get French fries instead of
that normally has like
cheese.
Exactly. Casados are super popular.
Exactly.
I'm a sucker for the Costa
And
Rican
if you do eat meat, then you'd get it with a protein, like a steak or a chicken fillet or fish or something, but it comes with a whole plate of everything, so it's and they're usually super cheap, so you can eat a nice big plate of food for really, really good price.
Along with the casado, I'm a big advocate of the breakfast.
That's my favorite. Yes,
Costa Rican breakfast.
Yes, maduros.
When I first moved here, I had no idea what people were doing eating rice at breakfast.
Right?
I didn't want to have anything to do with it. I didn't want to look at it. I missed my my British and Irish fry-ups, you know.
The English breakfast.
Oh, the Irish breakfast is better. Actually, the Northern Irish breakfast is the best. Very specific. But no, Gallo Pinto was amazing. I eat it all the time now. Yep. Nobody eats it more than you do when you're doing your shoots for Frog TV. Correct. The most Gallo Pinto I've ever seen anybody eat.
You don't always see it on the same episode. Even, sometimes I mix the ingredients, so I kind of mix the English breakfast with the UK breakfast. Just have it go on the side and the sour cream. Nice. I'm a big fan. I love it. Well, finally, we have one other question that comes in here. It's a really good one for both of you. The best Costa Rica vacation package in 1 week and 2 weeks. You've got 1 week, Lisa, 7 days. What are the 2 spots you have to go to?
For me personally, for anyone, families, couples, whatever, I would say my favorite combo is Arenal Volcano and Manuel Antonio. You get the volcano, you get the hot springs, you get the adventures, and then if you didn't get enough adventure, you can still do some of that in Manuel Antonio, or you can just relax on the beach. But you get the kind of restaurants, everything. But to me, that's a nice combo of the essence of Costa Rica. And if I had to throw in a third location in there, it would probably be a cloud forest, whether it's Monteverde or Villa Blanca is another hotel that we work with in the Los Angeles cloud forest, a little bit closer to San Jose, and that's another really nice 3-stop option, or maybe a Tortuguero if they have the time and budget, or the OSA. But
yeah, Aidan, I was going to ask, being from Europe, obviously we work with clients coming over from the UK and other European countries. For those looking to stay for 2 weeks, 3 or 4 different destinations, what's your classic go-to package?
Yeah, I mean, I booked a lot of those packages, like you say. I would say that I would still include some of what Lisa did as well, because some of those are must-see places. But normally I would start them off here in San Jose. You know, they tend to get in a little later, so start them off here and go in somewhere like Tortuguero on the East Coast, where they'll obviously have an amazing wildlife experience. Just maybe a couple of nights there. You know, it is kind of remote, so a couple of nights tends to be enough. They maybe start to get a little cabin fever, want to see some other people, then head over to Arenal for, again, some more rainforest, but more adventure. And because they've had that experience, I would tend to maybe lean towards the Guanacaste region, because most Europeans will want at least 5 to 6, even 7 nights after their wildlife and adventure to sit on the beach. And it is. It's tiring, especially if you're doing those adventures. And they have the time. And Americans don't have. They got a little bit more time. Like,
North Americans.
Actually, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of studies out there to prove that North Americans do not take their vacation time. That's not the case in the UK and Europe. We take our vacation time, and normally in blocks of 2 weeks, where we want to go somewhere for a couple of weeks. So yeah, I'd stop off at the end of that trip with about 5, 6, 7 nights at one of the beaches. Maybe. Obviously, what they want matters. So if they want surfing, we'll choose something like that. If they want more swimming, then maybe we'll choose something like the West End with the Calm Beach at Five Conchal, or even.
Or if they just want to be around no people.
Yeah, and one of my favorite new properties, actually, for people who have about a week, is the Las Catalinas Resort, which is really unique resort made up of flats and villas. So if you have a week, you might want to stock up your fridges and your cupboards with, easy things for lunch, and maybe just head out for dinner. And they got a gorgeous, very natural beach that is great for swimming actually as well. So that's probably what I would do for companies.
Yeah, mix up the rainforest, see some wildlife, a bit of adventure, like you said, maybe the cloud forest, and then relax on the beach. Generally, the North Pacific.
Now, if you ever time to do that kind of trip as well, would be those regular summer months, July, August, because we'll have had a few months of some rainfall. So the Guanacaste region turns from a kind of a more dusty brown tropical dry forest to this beautiful lush forest as well. So it's
and that's when you see the turtles too.
Yeah, and you see turtles. Yeah, over Tortuguero.
Very true. Well, guys, to finish up, I love to do these quick fire questions. I'm going to say a couple of things, and you have to just blurt out firstly which one you prefer. Okay, and then at the end, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions before we leave for the day. So, straight away, guys, rainforest or beach?
Beach.
Rainforest.
There we go. Volcano City.
Volcano.
Canopy zipline tour, whitewater rafting.
Neither.
Oh, both.
Okay, there you go. Where would you go?
I'm Hanging Bridges.
Hanging Bridges. Yeah. Okay. Favorite vacation destination outside Costa Rica?
Colombia.
Quick. Love it. I like it.
Ireland.
You're going home?
No. I'd go Nicaragua.
You're both really close by. So
yeah.
Okay, interesting.
That Latin flavor doesn't leave us.
Yeah,
no
there you
what.
go. Yeah, I love it. And then finally, you take a couple of seconds. What do you wish you knew about Costa Rica before you came?
That is not an island.
Hopefully you knew that.
Well, that's funny because we did definitely discussed that in a previous podcast.
Yeah, we get a lot of people who think it's an island. No, seriously, I would say that I had no idea what the people were like here. And almost every time my clients will mention when they get back, as beautiful as the country is, as amazing the experiences they have are, they love the Tico people. So obviously I live in San Jose in the Central Valley. I don't see that quite as much as people do when they go to the beaches and the rainforest, where everybody is just loving life. Big cities are big cities everywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, I see it now. I see it when I go to these places now as well. That they're special.
Fantastic. Lisa?
I think, and this isn't necessarily a negative, it's just something that I guess I didn't realize was, I didn't really realize. So the cost of certain things.
Mm-hmm.
So little things like bug spray, sunscreen. I mean, I can go to Target in the States and buy it on sale for $4, whereas here I'm spending $15 or $16 for the same bug spray or sunscreen. Things like that tend to be a bit more expensive. So that I think just kind of shocked me a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Grocery stores, some certain things that I want.
Basically, it's like anything imported is 30% more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Certain things like that.
On the other side.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. I mean, I have a bunch of dogs, having to take care of my dogs to the vet and things like that. I mean, I could never afford to have that many dogs in the States just because services are cheaper, but certain things, electronics, things like that are more expensive. It doesn't really have anything to do with vacationing other than if people want to, like, oh, I'll just get that when I'm there. I'll just get some shoes when I'm there. Like, no.
Yeah.
Bring whatever you need
that
here.
Is such a good topic, and we will definitely be talking about that in coming episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Life in Costa Rica, everything you need to know is essential. But guys, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Blast.
No worries. Thank you.
And your information will definitely be below.
All right.
Awesome.
Nice one.
Thanks,
Costa Rica Vacations.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Thanks.